Welcome to an introduction to the Laserfiche Web Client 11 by CDI. The Laserfiche Web Client provides secure access to your digital content with an easy-to-navigate folder structure, advanced search features, flexible content capture, and easy export capability. Today's agenda will cover the basics of using the Laserfiche Web Client, including how to log in, navigating and working with files, importing content, searching for content, and how to export that content once you've found it. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. To get signed in to the Laserfiche Web Client, navigate to the URL provided and fill in your username and password. This screen does not show a potential login that includes single sign-on or Windows authentication. In those cases, you may see another button, blue or even green, that allows you to use your either Azure AD account or Windows authentication methods to sign in. In this demonstration, I'll just be using a username and password, clicking sign in, and that'll take us into our Laserfiche repository. The Laserfiche web client is laid out in a very simple manner. Up at the top, we have our green bar. We find that there is the quick search box up at the very top middle. If you have any saved searches from doing advanced searching and saving of those advanced search filters, they will be listed here. Search filters will launch the advanced search criteria capability, which we'll take a look at in just a few moments. On the far right top corner, there is your username that you will have logged in with. You can sign out. You can set up your personal options, find help, and information about the current version of the Laserfiche web client, as well as some keyboard shortcuts. Below the green bar, it tells us what repository we have available. We are currently in a repository and it has 6 folders. Laserfiche refers to folders or documents as entries. Whenever you see that item there, you can just be aware that that's the number of entries in this particular location. If you click in the folder browser pane on the left-hand side, that will take you into that folder. In this case, there's 2 subfolders, and it shows us that there are 2 entries at the top. Right here in this white bar just below the green bar, we can see that we've navigated from the top level of the repository and down into the City Clerk folder. And if you want to click on the repository name, it will take you back to that level as well. It's a quick navigation trick. What you could also do is click in between the entry count and the path. You'll notice how the cursor changes to a bar with a hand icon with a finger. That will allow you to choose from your most recently visited folders. Way to quickly navigate to a different folder. This could be up to 9 previously visited folders. And that will change depending on what folders you've visited, of course. And this is per user. This is going to show you only your recently visited folders. All right. The folder pane on the left-hand side also includes, just above it, any entries that you might have marked with a star, and any items that you might have used previously, and other shortcuts that allow us quick access to different parts of the repository. Below that is the folder structure. If I collapse the repository name, you'll see that that collapses down. It doesn't show us any folders at all. Normally that is expanded automatically. And below your folder structure is the recycle bin. If you have deleted a document, that will be shown up in the recycle bin. It is only the documents you have deleted, nobody else's. If you don't see all the folders in the repository, that's okay. That might be by design. There is security on all folders, and you may not see all the folders in the repository. This is what we're talking about when we say that Laserfiche has a individualized view. Each user may be a member of a security group, and they are only given access to certain folders, and that's okay. We probably don't want to get into trouble by getting into all the folders anyway. On the right-hand side is the contents pane. We can see at the top there are a number of different columns. Some of these columns are Laserfiche information. It knows when this folder was created and when new content was put in that folder. The creation date will never change. The modification date will change depending upon whether that folder has had new content inserted into it or if a document has changed. Documents will show page counts if they've been scanned, although Word and PowerPoint documents, for example, may not show a page count at all because they are really an electronic document, not an imaged document. What's a Laserfiche image document? That's a document that's been scanned and is in TIFF format, TIFF being TIFF format. These columns can be used to sort or even filter. Clicking on the column name itself will allow us to sort ascending, as we can see with that triangle. Click again, it'll sort descending. If you want to filter on the names in that column, click on the filter icon, that little T-shaped black icon, and that will allow you to type in parts of a text. We'll type in the word city, for example, and filter, and that shows us just that one folder with part of that name in the folder name. If we need to, we can clear that, just hit the reset button, and it will show you all the contents in that area that is now no longer filtered. And you can use multiple filters if they are available. Some of these columns may not actually have a filter icon, but most of them will. If you want to add additional filter or columns, you can click on the column display option and choose the column picker. This will give you the ability to choose additional Laserfiche columns. We can see them on the left-hand side, and just go ahead and double-click on that piece of information or that column that you want to add. And you can even, once you've selected it, we can rearrange those columns in order right there on screen. We'll do that in a moment. However, you may also have templates. A template is basically a list of similar or related fields for various purposes. Consider it more like a super category with different fields within it. And you can choose those, hit apply, and that will add those columns to your display. You can even save that set of columns as a profile by clicking the Save Profile button in the bottom left corner, sorry about that. Click Cancel if you're done, or Continue. The columns can be rearranged. Click and drag to rearrange those columns. And on the far right, there's a Details pane as well. You can slide that open, and that will give you some information about that particular folder or document. For example, if we navigate into the Incoming Scans folder, we have a list of several documents. If you check the box next to a document or click on the line of the document but not on the document name itself, that basically selects the document, and we then have some information in the Details pane about that particular document. All right, just clicking on Items, clicking on the Fields tab will show us some information as well. It just depends what you have selected. All right. Having navigated into a different folder, up in the top right corner, you'll notice that we have some icons in the top. We can refresh our view. If new content has been added by other users, you might see a green dot on this refresh icon. Click that, and that will show you the new content that might have been uploaded. If you have rights in this particular area to create folders, this new folder icon will be not grayed out. It'll be available. In this case, this account does not have rights to create folders here. You can download content. You can scan documents into this folder. You can rename content, and you can even email content out. So depending on what you have selected, these icons may change. If we deselect the document, notice the icons have changed on the toolbar. You even have an import option as well. You can resize the column panes. The different panes here can be resized. Just click and drag on those separator bars, as you can see here. The Details pane does not have to be visible. And up in the top right corner, you can change the view from list to icon view, although list view is probably more functional because you do have those columns and you can sort and filter by those columns. Icon view doesn't really give you that opportunity. So most people leave the setting as list view. Back on the folder pane and navigation area, you can expand any folder by clicking on the little triangle shape on the left of that icon, and it will show you any subfolders available. Selecting that subfolder should show you any content within that area. Clicking on the name of the folder will take you into that folder. If there is a document or documents in there, clicking on the document name will open up that document in the document viewer. As we can see, another tab has opened in the web browser, and this displays the contents of that document. This is a scanned image that has been marked up with annotations, including a redaction and a yellow highlight. You have redaction tools available to you at the top bar. You have a thumbnail view on the left-hand side, the image view in the middle, and the metadata view on the right-hand side. You can choose to apply different templates, assign information to the fields in that template, change the values, and if fields are required, you'll notice a red asterisk on that field name. When done editing or adding information, feel free to close that view. You do have, if you do make changes, for example, we add a value to a field, the metadata requires that you hit the save button at the bottom of that metadata column there. Go ahead and save that. If you want to, you can rearrange the order of TIFF images. Click and drag to rearrange those items in the thumbnail view. And if you're done viewing the document, you can close the tab or hit the back button up at the top. If you do happen to hit the back button, that will take you back to the main folder that you had started in. So notice we now have two tabs open to the same area. Feel free to close one of those extra tabs. This just is a feature that tends to happen when opening additional documents. How did those documents get in to Laserfiche? Very easy to get documents into Laserfiche. We have several methods that you can use. You can do drag and drop. You can do an import process. You can even scan directly into Laserfiche if you have a desktop scanner. To import documents, go ahead and if you're going to do drag and drop, you can drag and drop by dragging the document onto a folder name or into the main contents pane. Releasing will bring up the import dialog box where you can rename the document. You can make sure that it is going into the correct folder. If not, click the browse button and that will allow you to select a correct folder if that wasn't the one that you wanted. You can assign a template. You can assign tags if there are tags available. You can tell the system to generate searchable text from the document. And on the Fields tab, if you have selected a template, you can then assign information into the fields. Those fields could be text, could be a drop-down list, could be a date field, and you can choose the date from the date picker. And if they are required fields, go ahead and fill those out. If you don't fill those fields out, you won't have the ability to import this document until those fields are actually filled in. Once you have that, you're then able to click the import button in the bottom right corner, and the document will be saved into the repository in that folder. Another method to import documents is to use the import button on the toolbar and browse for a file, although you can drag and drop a file to this screen as well. Go ahead and click the browse button, find the file that you want to import, and select that document. You can select more than one document at a time as well. In this case, I'm going to import a PDF file, which Laserfiche treats slightly differently than most other documents that it imports. And Laserfiche can support almost any document type, including video and audio files, and all other electronic files. We'll go ahead and import the PDF. The PDF here has a slightly different option, though, that you might not see normally. and that is under the Pages option to generate pages. It will take the PDF and generate Laserfiche TIFF image pages from that PDF. And you do have a choice as to what kind of image pages you want to generate. If the original is a colored PDF, you can tell it to create black and white images or just standard or color, high quality color image pages from the original PDF. Make your choice. Go ahead and set it as default if you want. You might also want to set your default volume if that's necessary, although not typically. And like we saw before, you can rename the document, make sure it's going to the correct folder, assign a template, and or assign field values in those templates as well. Some templates have required fields, so just be aware of that. Click Import, and that document will be imported into the folder that you had highlighted. In this case, we imported a PDF, and when viewing PDF documents, Laserfiche will launch the document viewer, and it actually has two views of the contents. One is the PDF, but if you notice on this particular file, on the top left corner it says File View. That should be your indicator that says this is an electronic file, and if you turn that off, it then will show you the image of that same document. So this is the TIFF image version of the PDF. Go ahead and make your annotations on the TIFF image. Go ahead and save that, and you're done. Notice on the file view, those annotation tools are not available because Laserfiche does not edit PDF files directly. When done, go ahead and click back or close your tab. Another method of import is to scan documents into Laserfiche. Go ahead and select your folder, hit the scan button. That will launch the Laserfiche scanning module. You can choose basic or standard scanning. If you're going to scan one document and that's it, go ahead and choose basic desktop scanning. If you've never used scanning mode before, you may be required to download and install the desktop scanning module. If you have rights to install software on your computer, then this will be no problem. Sometimes you don't have rights and you will be needing the assistance of your IT staff to help get that installed. Once installed, you can then run the scan module. That will launch in another window, and then it will connect to the scanner and allow you to scan documents. And once the scan module starts, and also the first time you run it, you'll need to configure a scan source. In this case, I'm going to use the Universal Capture scan source, but if you have a desktop scanner, you'll want to use the Twain or WIA scan engine options, which will connect to the scanner itself. I don't have a scanner on this machine, so I'm going to use the Universal Capture setup. It then allows me to configure my sources as to where I want to pull images from. In a desktop scanner's case, well, it's pulling the images right from the scanner. Having configured the scan source and the option for where to put the processed images, go ahead and click OK. At this point, you will have your configuration. You can start scanning. However, you might want to define the file type that is being imported. I'm going to choose TIFF because that's the kind of files I have in that source folder. At this point, then, one can press the Start Scanning button, or for all documents that are being created, or a document being created, you can rename it in the top right corner. You can apply a template to that document, and then when you hit Start Scanning, it will pull those images in and create a single document. At this point, you'll have your images. You can review them by clicking on the page turning option on the bottom of the image page there, like I'm doing now. You'll see that the template has been assigned, and you can set any field values that you want over there on the right-hand side in that blue box. If everything looks good, go ahead and hit the Done button, and that will close the scanning module and store the document in that folder in which you started. And again, that was the basic scanning module. If you want to scan, you can use the desktop version, or standard desktop scanning, I should say. Click OK. That module will launch, and it'll look a little different. However, the same setup. If this is the first time you're using this module, you'll just need to set up your scan source. Go ahead and click OK. Walk through that step as well, and then pull in either images, or if you're, again, using a desktop scanner, scan using the desktop scanner. You can add additional properties, for example. There's a bit more flexibility in the standard scanning. Over in the top left corner, you can see there's some default properties for what is actually shown on the right-hand side, the document name, any templates assigned, and any tags that you want to assign. However, you do get some other options under image processing, and you can add things like page removal. You can remove either every first page of a document or just any blank page. The blank page option is a file size setting there, if we see that. We can also add, for example, deskew, which will straighten out documents. You can also add despeckle, which will remove little dust dots if they are available or found on the scan. And then finally, one might want to run the OCR process to generate searchable text as well. And once those are set, that'll be applied to all the documents and image pages of that document therein. And then you go ahead and scan the document, and then you can store the document, but then continue on. Unlike the basic scanning, the standard scanning module will stay open until you actually close it out when you're done. It assumes you're going to scan more than one document at one time. Having done that, the document is then stored in Laserfiche. We saw an example here. And in the repository, there's the document that came in with that template and those 7 pages. We can see the page count column showing the 7-page count. If you didn't want to have that document all 7 pages, you can break it apart here. Because scanned images can be broken apart, it's kind of a neat little trick. If you open it up and go view by the thumbnail pane, you can multi-select, hold the control key down and select 2 documents, and you can say move the 2 pages to a new document, or copy pages to a different document, or just copy 2 pages to a new document. We'll go ahead and do that, and it says create new folder. Sometimes you can just move them to an existing document as well. I think that's the only option here. So if I would choose that, I couldn't do that. All right, that is the scanning module. Next up is searching. Laserfiche provides a couple of ways to search for content. If we navigate back to the root of the repository, we'll start up at the top on the green bar and point out that Laserfiche has a quick search and a more advanced search. They call it search filters. On the quick search box, the white box there at the top in that green bar, you can search for a limited set of information, search by a keyword, and then you can search by various criteria. We have the document text, entry name, fields, and annotation text capability. And then you can limit the search to a particular folder, a folder plus all of its subfolders, and or the entire repository. You can also search by date modified, or if you hit the drop down, date created. In the advanced search, you can use both at the same time. In this quick search, you can only use date modified or date created one at a time. But it does have some filters. You can create a custom range to search by as well. You can also search by a field, or you can, a template, and or a field individually. Just type in your keyword and hit search. You can search the entire repository, just one location, it doesn't matter. The only content that will come back is the content that you're able to see. If you cannot see other folders, that content will not be available to you. We did a search for content that included document names, text in the document as well. And you can see that we got a set of search hits, and document types came up, whether they're PDF or Word document or scanned images. Those documents will show up. If you highlight one of the entries down at the bottom, if there's any text in the document, it will be shown down at the bottom in that context hit area. Why don't we go back and try a slightly different search? Search for the word Laserfiche, for example, without that part on there. Go ahead and do a search, and we get quite a few different items. Now, including the document or the entry name, this does come back with a result of a folder in our search. So if you didn't want folders to come back, just go ahead and uncheck the entry names search, which might give you a slightly different search hit. Up at the top, just below the green bar, you can see the entry count, 15. We'll rerun our search here, for example, just to search for entries by text or field values. And that will change the search results count slightly. So we no longer get those folders, and we can now see that we have our documents. Highlight a document. That'll give you your context down at the bottom half because that has searchable text. And if you double click on the page, if you scroll down, notice it says page 1 or page 2. If you double click on that page and that context, it will open the document and take you to that page. As you can see, it took us to that page. And in the document viewer, it gives us not only a way to scroll through the search hits on the pages, but also highlights that word or words on the document as well. So some pretty handy search results there in regards to context hits. The quick search can be saved at this point. Down at the bottom left corner, there is the save button, and you can save that as a custom quick search. Your search results actually show you the advanced search filter capability as well. On the left-hand side, where the folder pane used to be, is now the search pane, and you can add search filters. When you do that, you get a pop-up, and you can choose to add or remove filters that include things like the text of a document, the name of a document. Maybe we don't want keywords, and maybe we don't want to search by date. We can search by type, and I do recommend using type as a capability as well as the within folder option when you are doing advanced searches, because you can customize what kind of content you want to retrieve, whether it's a folder, a document, or a shortcut. And if we choose these filter options, notice when we click OK, it adds them on the left-hand side. So now you can search by whatever criteria you need. On the entry name, we can see that box right there. You can search by entry name. I do suggest that you use a asterisk or a star for names of content that you're not sure how it's spelled. Maybe you know the beginning part of the content. Maybe the name begins with sample, but you're not sure if it's sample 1, sample 100. Just type in the word and then an asterisk. And it is not case sensitive, so you can search by uppercase, lowercase, or even mixed case. It doesn't matter on entry names, as well as text. Any searches that you do in the repository through the Laserfiche search is not text sensitive or case sensitive on the text. Whether it's text or names or anything like that, it's not case sensitive. Go ahead and type in the phrase or word that you're looking for. And you can use search terms for text here. Look for any document where the word Laserfiche appears in that document. You can also use Boolean operators within the text search. So this is a bit more advanced than we saw in the basic search from the search bar, or that quick search. You can use multiple words and or phrases. You can use and, or, you can use not, so that you don't include certain words. And you can even do a proximity search that finds 2 words or 2 phrases within a certain number of words, sentences, or paragraphs. Sentences is 20 words, and paragraphs, I think, is 50 words. So add in your additional word search capability, and you can find words and or phrases within a certain range of words from each other. Really powerful tool. Once you've run your search, you can save that search as well. That could be saved as an advanced search. Having found the documents, you can open it up for viewing. If it's a Word document, you can open it up and then choose to edit it afterwards. And if you have the Office integration installed, you can then save that Word document back into the Laserfiche repository as a new version. You can check it out so that it is checked out. And then when you're done editing it, it's checked back in. And while it's checked out, the other users in the Laserfiche system will be able to view it only in read-only mode until that document is checked back in. And that applies to Office documents like Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. All right, so having found our content, we can open it up, edit it, view it. We can even share it. Up in the top right corner, there's a share option. Clicking on that gives you a choice to either send it via email or you can download it. For those using Laserfiche Cloud, you actually have a direct share capability as well, meaning you can send an email that has a direct link to that document. But for on-premise web client users, there's only the email capability here. I recommend using the send as file as a PDF and use the email client to send the message if you're using Microsoft Outlook. If you're using another method, that's okay. Just use your email client, and that will download a copy of the email to your computer for further email editing. If you don't use the mail client, it will try and use Laserfiche's built-in web client email system, but that may not be installed in your environment. If you see that message, that will not be capable, and you'll see this message like I see here because I don't have that installed. So typically you'll use your email client to send messages. Click send, and that will then download the message, and then you can open it up through your browser and then proceed to address the email, add any attachments that go along with this attachment, put in your body, etc., and then send it off. If you want to print the document, highlight that document and then choose the print option, which is potentially not on your toolbar up in the top right corner. So you could choose the more actions button up there at the top and choose your print option as well. And that concludes our Laserfiche web client training.